Hi, welcome to Focus on Finance. I'm your host, Melanie Parker. Focus on Finance is brought to you by the Consumer Education Division of the Right Legacy Group. I'm talking fast because we have some awesome stuff to go over and I don't want to run out of time. We have Dr. Pate and Megan Stith here from HCEC. Welcome.
Thanks, Melanie.
Thank you.
Glad to have you all. And I could go on about how awesome HCEC is. I do have a graduate from there who is doing great. But we are going to talk today about the Family Scholar House, which I'm assuming is probably job related, but also passion driven. So Doc, let's start with you. How did you find out and get involved with the Family Scholar House?
You know, it was really just a random email that I'd come across that had just a little blurb about the Family Scholar House, and I believe maybe just a bit about their CEO or Chief Possibilities Officer, as she calls herself, Kathy Dykstra.
I like that.
And I had asked our Vice President of Student Affairs to reach out and invite them to come in and talk about what it is they do.
Wow.
Because somewhere in this little blurb there was this idea about they wanted to help community colleges in particular, but colleges reach out to their students. Mm-hmm. And that's something that was very, very much on our radar. Wonderful. As, you know, the next steps that we're taking as a college is not just about, you know, buildings and programs, but also about truly how do we connect and engage with our students. Mm-hmm. That's so hard for us to do. All of our people's jobs are so intensely focused on a specific area, and the amount of work within that area is, you know, really big.
And the diversity.
Very much so.
Yes,
you know,
yes.
when you look across the range of programs and missions that we have, and the diversity of student needs, mm-hmm. you know, none of our folks can specialize enough in those areas of need to really serve as a conduit for our students to find resources, to connect with programs that can help them with non-academic issues.
Right.
So in the course of just a couple of weeks, Kathy and a couple of members of her team came down to the college.
From Louisville?
From Louisville.
Okay.
Spoke to our leadership team at the college, and within about 45 minutes, I mean,
we were all ready to be in tears.
Yeah.
Because the work they were doing is so
Sure.
meaningful.
Amazing.
It truly is. Megan, do you want to touch upon a little bit? How much time do we have? Not nearly enough, but some of the programs that you see about Family Scholar House and how they benefit, who they benefit.
Well, Family Scholar House has been a tremendous partner already because they are focusing on the other elements of a student's life that are outside of the classroom. So we are laser focused on providing high quality education, but as a fellow, you know, working mom and also adult learner right now myself, I mean, our students are whole people and they have other challenges in their lives beyond what's going on in the classroom. So when there's an unexpected layoff or a medical bill or a car that breaks down, so often those are the barriers that keep students from coming back to that next class or re-enrolling for another term.
Sure.
And I'd seen that in our work with our Student Emergency Fund, which we started during COVID because we were seeing all of these life issues getting in the way of students' progress. And the expertise that Family Scholar House brings to the table allows us to deal with those other issues so that I kind of look at it like when you're driving down the road, they're the guardrails on the road as students are working towards their goals. They keep them from going off into the ditch or going off when there is that challenge that gets in the way. So we can help them build that resiliency, and ultimately they're doing the hard work, but they're going to get to their goals because of the wraparound services that HCEC and Family Scholar House can provide together.
I really like that. I've seen that you can give a man a fish, you know.
Exactly.
And there are fabulous programs, not just in Jefferson County, but here in Hardin County, to help that family get a week's worth of groceries or help in those ways. But there's a generational issue on some of these things that these types of programs help.
And, you know, I think one of the biggest misperception about a lot of people who are receiving benefits in any shape or form, whatever benefit it is, but receiving some kind of government benefits is that those people just want to be on those benefits.
Right.
When the truth is, most of those people do not want to be on those benefits. They want a pathway to take them to something different and, you know, more importantly, take their children to something different. But when you're in that scratch and survive mode, it's really hard to break out of that, particularly to try to find some time, some way, some funding, some transportation to go to college
Right.
amidst that. So the Family Scholar House, even though they started with a mission of really a singular focus on homeless mothers, they have expanded to the things that Megan has been talking about, but they're a resource for these community members to lean on, and they're really kind of the conduit. If there is a local resource that can meet that need, the Family Scholar House will, from their call center in Louisville, help that student get connected with that local resource. If there is a college resource, they will help that student get connected with that college resource. If no resource exists, they will find that resource for that student. So, they're taking advantage of what we as a community have put together and have supported, but many needs still fall outside those realms of possibility. That's where they step in with all of their other connections to bring those services to our community members.
This is true.
All for the purpose of helping them get to a place to where they are self-sustaining.
Right. And they can, if they're, once again, generational, they may not realize that there is more, there is better, and there is none of us on the stage or in our audience that hasn't gotten help somewhere, somehow, from someone.
Yes,
I know
ma'am.
I did. As a single mom years ago, I definitely took advantage of different programs, and I will literally spend the rest of my life paying that forward. I will help anyone in any way that I can, because people don't know what they don't know. And as you all, as the educational component, it's got to be tough to reach all of these people when it's easier to have an entity like the Family Scholar House to have the people come to one location. So I can't even, I went on the website, which is, I want to get it right, familyscholarhouse.org. It's a nonprofit. They take donations. It's very important that we throw that out there.
Yes.
They even have some fundraiser opportunities that I checked out, a glitzy kitchen and cafe, these types of things. But it's super important that people know it's education. I saw workshops, and I actually printed those out, because I was super impressed with these workshop opportunities that they provide. Financial success. And it's great if you get help with an internship or with a job, but if you don't know how to manage those funds, you're never going to move forward.
Exactly.
You're never going to move forward. Academic success, career readiness. I pulled a couple of testimonials from someone who had health services apprenticeship, culinary arts apprenticeship. The possibilities are endless, absolutely endless. Is there any interest or plan to bring this to Hardin County?
So the top level service that Family Scholar House provides is a residential platform to provide a home for homeless parents
Wow.
going through school.
That's huge.
That's the top tier. Everything that we're talking about right now exists. In fact, they're even bringing some kiosks that will be in our community,
Wow.
funded by the Family Scholar House.
Okay.
We partnered with them to bring a couple to the college, to where students, community members, not just students, but community members can access services that are free to them.
Wow.
And that's the big difference between what the Family Scholar House promotes and provides. Is they're not low-cost options, they're no-cost options. And they're filtered based on need. So, I mean, they're bringing all that now. Where we are going is that we will have a Family Scholar House residential home here in Elizabethtown, Hardin County.
Wow.
We will. It will happen.
Okay.
We
you heard it here,
know
folks.
the need
It's
is
going to take some
there.
work, but we're
Sure.
going to do it. We have
Yes.
to.
Absolutely.
We are looking at the data. We're going to have to right size this. It doesn't need to be too small. It doesn't need to be too big, but
Right.
it is going to be here because this makes a difference. And the entrance requirements are stiff. Right? This is a program. So,
Right.
so the list of available workshops that you saw, if you're going to be in the residence, those are mandatory.
I have the qualifications right here.
I love how much research you did.
Oh yeah, you're Megan's kind of person. I'll tell you that.
As a single parent, currently, the residential program qualifications in Louisville: be single, have a child, children, or be pregnant, meet low-income housing requirements, have a high school diploma or GED. Folks, please, please, please get that diploma, get that GED. That is something that is required across the board, really, just about anywhere. And you folks are phenomenal about helping people obtain those.
Yes, ma'am.
Not everyone learns in a traditional way. Not everyone can do the regular kindergarten through 12th grade sitting in a classroom thing. And you all are fantastic about helping people achieve those goals. Have to say that. And have the desire to pursue post-secondary education, which is where you all come in.
Yes, ma'am.
So when they want to plug in with you, what do you offer someone that, let's say, is in one of these residential programs and wants post-secondary education? What steps do they take with you?
Well, they would apply as any other student would.
Okay.
And then, of course, we would help them through that process. The Family Scholar House would help them through that process, and we'll get them plugged in. But, you know, the great thing is that from day -1, they're going to be receiving a level of support to be a student that they didn't receive.
That is huge.
In their world as it
Huge.
existed.
Yes.
So, you know, what we will do is provide as much flexibility in course time, course location as they would need to meet their schedule. Now that we're on the 8-week schedule, that's even better for someone in this situation, because they can take 1 or 2 classes at a time, focus on those as they're also helping their kids with homework or, you know, daycare, childcare, all those things. But again, daycare, childcare, those things are part of Family Scholar House resources and services.
And we're providing that now.
Yes.
I think that's what's really special about this partnership.
Right.
Is we're also not just waiting for students to come and share their needs, sharing what questions or issues they're having, but Family Scholar House has been reaching out proactively to our students, and they've made almost 13,000 contacts with our students over the last couple months.
Wow.
For sure. Phone calls, emails, just reaching out and seeing, you know, even after things like when the tornado happened, are you okay to continue with your school education? What else do you need? Do you need a computer? Do you need internet connectivity? What issues are going on? And they're having those conversations proactively. So any ECTC student can benefit from this, because we know sometimes there's also issues going on in families that students may not be comfortable sharing with their instructors or faculty or staff, but Family Scholar House, they have the training, they've seen it all, and they know how to navigate these really complex situations. So any student can take advantage of this, even if they're not living in that residential program.
Perfect. Another component that I saw that I really like is that can be implemented in the residential program and with the education are those foster kids. Those foster kids that age out. You know, they didn't have the supportive nuclear family to begin with. Then they go into the program and they turn 18 or they graduate from high school, and they're just, you know, I'm sure quite often the foster parents encompass those students, or kids, but that's not always the case.
No, ma'am.
So, and they just fall through those cracks. So what a great program for you all. When I saw young foster kids or young adults for foster, I was excited.
It's phenomenal. And,
yes.
You know, so the college, we had this mission of starting new cycles. You know, we didn't want to just break cycles of dependency and these kinds of things. Yeah, you want to break those, but you want to start a new one. You know, and things like this with the foster youth, you know, talking about taking a proactive step to make sure someone stays on the right path before they make a bad choice.
Right.
You know, so many times in society we try to fix a bad choice. Well, this is about preventing those choices before they ever happen.
Right.
And they do family counseling. They do not just family counseling for what are your issues, but also family counseling for what kind of mother do you want to be? What kind of father do you want to be? And here's how you get there.
Right.
You know, that's all part of this residential program. And it's a mandatory part of this residential program. So, you know, they have been doing this for a long time to a very high success. And, you know, that's what is coming here. This is a proven, successful strategy for communities, for individuals to pursue a better life, a better influence on others around them. They have a couple of books about their stories of participants within the Family Scholar House. And a third book is coming out now.
Bring the tissue, right?
Oh, I'll tell you, you took the words right out of my mouth. I'll be crying all through this because that third book is not about the participants. The third book is about the children of the participants that have now come up in a different environment.
Nice.
That's the thing. You know, they've something like 60% of their graduates go on, get a job, and have now given back to the Family Scholar House. So now you're talking about taking some families, some people who are in a cycle of dependency, and giving them enough to where they're now giving back.
Right.
You know, and that's the whole point of this, is that these are people that don't want to be in a cycle of dependency. They need help getting out of that. They are going to be tax-paying, contributing members of churches, communities, you know, all of these things for generations. It is starting a brand new cycle for generations to come.
Right.
I got to meet a special agent in the FBI at one of their events actually over the weekend. One of their graduates, she's getting ready to be shipped off to Quantico to do her, I was kind of afraid to ask too many questions.
Sure.
I didn't know if that meant she had to like take you out or something if you knew too much. But she was just this amazing young lady. You know, she had been a single parent, now married. Her husband also has on a great career track, and
That's Maria, right?
yes, yeah, Maria going to
Is that her
become
real name?
I just said I think you're the first FBI agent I've met. Maybe I've met someone I didn't know it, but you know, to see somebody on not just the career path, but at that level,
that trajectory
and
is
how that's going to
amazing.
change the future for her kiddo.
Yes.
I mean, it was amazing not just to see the work that I get to see and how it affects our students, but just an individual like that who's going to do. Well, I'll be working for her one day when she's president of the United States.
Her and my 6-year-old granddaughter.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Wow, I'm overwhelmed, to be completely honest.
Well, they've got stories of surgeons, doctors, lawyers. There's a mayor up in Ohio. You know, all these people have come through. We actually have a faculty member at our college that came through the Family Scholar House. These people are amazing.
How long has this thing been around?
Oh gosh, have they been residential 15 years?
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
Okay.
But
Wow.
Yeah, they now have 4 locations in Louisville. They're going to be across the river in Indiana.
they're building a facility in Houston, Texas.
Yeah, they're going
an
to have
affiliate that's
one
going to have
in
that model.
Houston.
Okay.
And they will actually operate that one, but then Los Angeles, Tampa, Florida, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I mean, there's
It's like
so
the whole
many
map.
communities.
And it started in Louisville.
Yep,
Yeah,
started
right
in Louisville.
here.
That is amazing.
And I'll be throw myself under the bus to say I'd heard of them, I had heard they did great things, but I didn't think that was something that we could tap into here in E-Town. I just thought that was unless you can live in the facility in Louisville, there's not a way for us to partner. But they have been amazing at, like I said, already serving our students, reaching out to them, providing services. So it really is a local resource, not just a Louisville thing like I thought it was.
Right.
And, we encourage anyone who might be on the fence about thinking, maybe I want to go back to school, this can be a game changer if you've got some barriers in the background that we can get you connected with Family Scholar House, because it's not even just for ECTC students today. If you want to be an ECTC student, we want you to become one too, so do they, and we can work together to remove any issues that are standing in the way.
It's wonderful. I will share quickly. I was a single mom with 3 kids. My youngest son is a graduate from the diesel mechanics program at ECTC.
Great program.
He has a wonderful career in his own family, and thank you all for that. My oldest daughter has a doctorate, and we are, you just break the mold on these statistics. I was a single mom with 3 kids ultimately, and my children are thriving because of programs like this. If you can't do it for you, for whatever reason, you don't have the self-esteem, the self-worth, any of that, get you a mentor through you all, because that's where it starts. Literally somebody just holding your hand, hearing your story, helping you change your story to how you want it to end, and watch your children thrive.
New cycles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I can remember years ago we were on food stamps, and it embarrassed my daughter. She was 10. And I would go to Walmart back when they were open 24 hours. I would go as late as I could with the hopes that we wouldn't run into anybody that we knew, because people don't want to live that way.
No.
They really don't. No. And I used it as a step up. And I would love to see these people who have this generational mentality of that's how I was raised and this is what my future is. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You all have taken every excuse off the table.
Yes, ma'am. And you know, and then the other thing that I want to reiterate, and as Megan was saying, is, you know, the services that they are providing for the call center to receive calls, these are for everybody.
Right.
You know, if you hear this production,
If you
This
can
is
hear
for
your
you.
voice.
you have access to this. I mean,
Yes.
it is for everyone.
Yes.
But
It
the
doesn't have to be
residence
someone
hall-
that's way,
Right.
you know, yeah.
Right. The residence hall, that is a specified
Right.
population. And they're there until they graduate. And
Right.
But then when they graduate, they move into housing. And I can't remember, it's in the 70% range that go on to own their own home. Maybe that was a little high. Maybe that one's a little, I'm thinking 70+% of the graduates go into healthcare.
Yeah,
So now there's
over
another-
60%
And oh
in
boy,
Yeah.
is
healthcare.
there a need.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you
Yes.
think about, again, you know, what could we do for this community? Well, Family Scholar House coming in and taking, you know, 40 to 50 would probably be where the number would be for the residence hall, about 40 to 50, and every 2 to 3 years, they turn over and go out into the workforce.
Sure.
Well, if 60 to 70% of them are going into the workforce, into healthcare, what a huge need for our
Yes.
region, and going to be a growing
And a
need
great,
in our region.
great career opportunity.
Wonderful career.
Yes.
You know, so again, I mean, you just think about, of all the things that we can do, that we can give of our time, energy, effort, financial contribution, you know, of all the things we can do, this one is certainly at the top of our list.
Right. And it's multifaceted. There are many components. It, like you said, there may be someone who's not on public assistance, but does need help with the education portion,
Right.
and needs to help someone to help set goals. So
Exactly,
they can
yes.
plug into any of the components in this.
And they'll actually talk with you. If you aren't sure if you qualify for benefits, they'll do something called a screener. You get $25 just for taking it because
Right.
they value your time.
Wow.
But they'll walk you through a couple questions and see if there's benefits out there that you aren't currently getting but that you qualify for. So that's a huge opportunity too if you're
Sure.
not sure how to navigate that system. And the good news is within 3 months of graduation, 9 out of 10 of their graduates are off benefits.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
you know, I think their philosophy, and it's hard to speak like Kathy Dykstra, isn't it? You
Yeah,
know, I
it's
feel like that's
impossible.
why you needed two of us. 'Cause
Right.
We can't say it as good as
Sure.
Kathy at Family
You put
Scholar
Kathy
House.
Dykstra on this,
Yeah.
everybody will understand. the
Yeah,
value of
she's
Family Scholar.
fantastic.
Got
But you know, that's the great thing is, you know, being able to tap into the resources that are there, and then being able to be self-sufficient enough to
Sure.
not need them in the future.
Wonderful. Like I said, people don't know what they don't know.
No, ma'am.
And thank you all so much. Thank ECTC and thank you all for your time. That I share my story openly, and I have my children's permission now to do that, now that they're in their 20s and 30s. But it's important that people know you can break the cycle.
Yes.
You can work and get out of it. And if there are resources available, why not? That you all have just, like I said, taken every excuse off the table. These folks are real. These folks are here to help you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Focus on Finance. Go to, I want to get it right, familyscholarhouse.org and check out those workshops. Check it all out. Read through it. There's so much there I couldn't even, if I'd printed it all out, my boss would have killed me. So thank you for your time, and we will see you next time.